The Galactic Council's observation station, located on the edge of the galaxy, picked up strange energy readings. It was a quiet day, and the scientists on duty were expecting nothing out of the ordinary. The station usually monitored the movements of comets, asteroid belts, and the occasional rogue planet. But today, the readings were different, strong and steady, unlike anything they had seen before. Dr. Zelon, the head scientist, stared at the data screen with a puzzled expression. The readings were coming from a sector that was supposed to be empty, just a vast stretch of space with nothing but distant stars. He rubbed his antennae, feeling uneasy. "This can't be right," he muttered to his assistant, who was equally confused. The assistant ran the diagnostics twice, thinking it might be a malfunction, but the readings persisted, showing a massive energy source deep within a thick nebula. Dr. Zelon knew they had to report this to the Galactic Council immediately. They sent a message with all the data, labeling it as urgent. Within hours, the council convened. Representatives from various species filled the grand chamber, their voices buzzing with speculation. Some thought it was just a natural phenomenon, while others worried it could be a hidden weapon or something worse. The council leader, a tall, stern-looking alien with a voice that echoed through the hall, called for order. "We need answers," he declared. "This energy source is unlike anything we have cataloged. We must send a team to investigate at once." A team of elite explorers and scientists was quickly assembled. They boarded a sleek ship equipped with the latest technology and set a course for the nebula. As they approached, the energy readings grew stronger. The nebula was thick and swirling with gases, making it hard for their sensors to get a clear image of what was inside. But as they ventured deeper, the outline of an enormous structure began to appear on their screens. The explorers gasped in disbelief. It was a megastructure unlike anything ever seen before. It stretched for miles, with giant towers and intricate designs that seemed to defy the laws of physics. The surface was covered in strange materials that reflected light in odd patterns, and massive energy conduits pulsed with power. The explorers sent back images and data to the council, their voices filled with awe and a hint of fear. Back at the council, the chamber was in an uproar. The images showed a structure that dwarfed even the largest space stations known to the galaxy. It was clearly the work of an advanced civilization, but no one knew who could have built it. The designs didn't match any known species, and the level of technology was far beyond what the council had ever encountered. "Could it be the work of an ancient race?" one representative asked, his voice trembling. "Or is it a new power rising in the galaxy?" Others suggested it might be a rogue AI or even a hidden superweapon. Panic began to spread as the council realized they had no control over this situation. The idea of a powerful unknown lurking in their midst was terrifying. The council leader called for calm. "We must learn more before jumping to conclusions," he said. "But one thing is clear, this discovery changes everything. We cannot ignore it." As the council debated, the megastructure loomed in the minds of everyone present. It was a mystery wrapped in fear, and its secrets were yet to be uncovered. The galaxy, once so familiar, suddenly felt a little more dangerous. And somewhere, in the vast darkness of space, the structure continued to hum with power, waiting to be fully understood. The Galactic Council watched in silence as the images of the megastructure filled the large display screen in the council chamber. The structure was far more advanced and larger than anything known in the galaxy. The council members, representing dozens of species, exchanged worried glances. No one had any idea who could have built it or why it was hidden inside a dense nebula. Council leader Vorath, a tall figure with scales that shimmered in the dim light, spoke first. "We need more information," he said, his voice deep and commanding. "This could be a threat to us all, or it could be an opportunity. But we cannot decide anything until we know what we are dealing with." A new mission was quickly organized. This time, the council sent a larger team of experts, including scientists, engineers, and diplomats. They were given the best ships and equipment, all designed to study and possibly make contact with whoever or whatever was behind the megastructure. As the team approached the nebula, the structure's details became clearer. They saw massive towers rising like mountains of metal, surrounded by intricate networks of energy conduits and shields. The surface was covered with patterns that looked almost like alien writing or symbols. It was clear that this was no ordinary space station. It was something far more complex and powerful. The leader of the team, Captain Renna, was a seasoned explorer known for her calm and steady demeanor. But even she was awestruck by the sheer scale of the structure. "I've seen a lot of things out here, but this is something else," she whispered to her crew. She ordered a careful approach, keeping the ship's shields up and weapons ready, just in case. They sent out probes to scan the structure, hoping to find an entrance or some way to communicate. As the probes circled the structure, they transmitted back streams of data. The megastructure was not just a single building, it was like a city in space, with layers upon layers of technology that the team could barely understand. The energy readings were off the charts, and the materials used in its construction were unknown to the scientists. Back on the Council's homeworld, the data was analyzed by the brightest minds. They found that the megastructure was equipped with defenses strong enough to repel entire fleets. Its energy source was unlike anything in their records, a powerful and endless supply that could power entire planets. The realization hit them all at once. This was not just a marvel of engineering, it was a potential superweapon. The council members were both impressed and terrified. "Who could have built this?" asked a representative with wide, fearful eyes. "And why haven't we heard of them before?" Speculation ran wild. Some believed it could be the work of an ancient lost civilization, one that had somehow survived in secret. Others thought it might be a rogue faction that had gone unnoticed for centuries. A few even whispered that it could be from another galaxy entirely, a sign of an impending invasion. Council leader Vorath tried to keep order. "We must not let fear guide our actions," he said firmly. "But we also cannot afford to ignore this. We must be prepared for any possibility." As the debate continued, the council decided to take a cautious approach. They would keep studying the structure, gathering as much information as possible without provoking whoever was behind it. They also quietly began to increase their defenses, just in case. The unveiling of the megastructure had shaken the Galactic Council to its core. The galaxy suddenly seemed larger, more mysterious, and far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. And while the council struggled to understand the true purpose of the structure, the megastructure remained silent, its secrets still hidden in the cold, dark expanse of space. The Galactic Council was in chaos. After weeks of studying the mysterious megastructure, they still had no answers. The structure's technology was far beyond anything the council had seen, and its purpose remained unknown. The council members grew more anxious with each passing day. They knew that whoever built the megastructure must be extremely powerful and potentially dangerous. Finally, a breakthrough came. One of the probes sent by the exploration team detected a small hidden signal near the megastructure. After analyzing it, the scientists realized that the signal matched a known pattern. It was human. The revelation hit the council like a shockwave. Humanity, a relatively new member of the galactic community, had built this incredible megastructure in secret. The council immediately summoned the human ambassadors to explain. The ambassadors, dressed in their formal Earth uniforms, entered the grand chamber, aware that all eyes were on them. They stood tall, their expressions calm and confident, but they could feel the tension in the room. Council leader Vorath, trying to keep his composure, addressed the humans directly. "Explain yourselves," he demanded. "You have built a structure of immense power, hidden it within a nebula, and kept it a secret from the entire galaxy. What is the meaning of this?" The lead human ambassador, Ambassador Liu, took a step forward. She spoke clearly, her voice steady. "The structure is called Aegis," she began. "It is not a weapon, but a shield, a defense mechanism against potential threats from outside the galaxy." The council members murmured among themselves, surprised by this response. Ambassador Liu continued, "For decades, we have been detecting strange signals from deep space. These signals suggest that there may be a threat approaching, something ancient and powerful. We built Aegis to protect not just Earth, but the entire galaxy." A representative from a reptilian species sneered. "And you didn't think to inform the council? To seek our assistance? You acted alone, as if the rest of us are nothing." Ambassador Liu kept her calm. "We knew this would be difficult to explain," she said. "We acted in secret because we needed to be sure of the threat. We did not want to cause unnecessary panic. Now that Aegis is complete, we are here to offer its protection to all of you." The council chamber erupted into a mix of anger and astonishment. Some representatives accused humans of playing gods, building powerful technology without oversight. Others saw the value in Aegis and were grateful for the protection it could offer. The debate quickly became heated, with voices rising and accusations flying across the room. Council leader Vorath raised his hand for silence. "Enough!" he shouted, his voice echoing through the chamber. He turned to the human ambassadors. "We do not appreciate being kept in the dark," he said firmly. "But if what you say is true, then we must consider our options carefully. This is not just about humanity, it's about the safety of the entire galaxy." Ambassador Liu nodded. "We understand your concerns," she replied. "But know this. Aegis is not just a human endeavor. It is a line of defense for everyone. We built it because we believe that when the time comes, we must stand united." The council members were divided. Some still distrusted humanity's motives, fearing that Aegis could be used as a tool of power. Others were impressed by humanity's foresight and courage to take on such a colossal task. In the end, the council decided to form a special committee to oversee Aegis, with representatives from various species working alongside humans. The confrontation with humanity had changed everything. The council realized that Earth was no longer just a small, ambitious planet. Humans had become key players in the galaxy's future, and their actions would shape what was to come. As the meeting adjourned, the ambassadors left, knowing that while trust had yet to be fully earned, a new chapter of cooperation or conflict was just beginning. The Galactic Council's special committee, now working alongside the humans, was eager to understand the true purpose of Aegis. They pored over data, held long meetings, and sent more probes to gather information. The humans, though cooperative, remained tight-lipped about some details, insisting that everything would make sense soon. This only fueled the Council's curiosity and suspicion. One day, Captain Rena and her team were invited to visit Aegis in person. They arrived at the Megastructure, their ship dwarfed by its massive size. As they approached, Aegis's shields lowered, allowing them access. They docked, stepping out into a vast, bright chamber filled with advanced technology. Human engineers and scientists moved around, monitoring various systems. It was like stepping into a city of the future. Ambassador Liu greeted them with a warm smile. "Welcome to Aegis," she said. "We're glad you're here. It's time you learned everything." The group was led through long corridors and observation decks that overlooked the core of the structure. They saw giant reactors glowing with a strange bluish light, generating the endless energy that powered Aegis. There were weapon systems, too, but not like any conventional weapons. They were designed to repel, not destroy, to protect, not attack. Finally, Ambassador Liu stopped at a large screen displaying a map of the galaxy. Tiny dots represented known planets and stars, but beyond the galaxy's edge, there was something else. A dark mass moving slowly but steadily toward them. The committee members stared at it, their faces filled with confusion and concern. "This," Liu said, pointing to the dark mass, "is why we built Aegis." She explained that for decades, humans had been picking up faint signals from deep space. At first, they thought it was just noise or cosmic radiation, but over time, the signals became clearer, revealing a pattern. The source was an ancient force, a massive entity that consumed everything in its path: stars, planets, entire systems. It moved silently, relentlessly, and it was heading straight for the galaxy. The council members were stunned. They had heard of ancient threats in legends, but they never thought one could be real. The map on the screen showed how far this force had already traveled, leaving behind a trail of dead, darkened systems. Aegis was humanity's response, a shield to protect the galaxy from this approaching doom. "Why didn't you tell us sooner?" Captain Rena asked, her voice filled with frustration but also fear. Liu sighed. "We weren't sure how to explain it. We knew it would sound unbelievable, like a myth, and honestly, we weren't sure if Aegis would work, but now it's almost ready. We've tested the shields and the energy barriers. When the time comes, Aegis will activate and form a protective field around the key systems in the galaxy." One of the council members, a nervous insectoid, clicked his mandibles. "And what if Aegis fails? What if this thing breaks through?" Ambassador Liu met his eyes. "Then we fight with everything we have," she said firmly. "Aegis is our best hope, but it's not the only plan. We've been working on advanced weapons, emergency protocols, and evacuation plans. We won't let this force take our homes without a fight." The room fell silent as the weight of Liu's words sank in. The council members realized that humanity had not only been preparing for a defense, but also for a war, one that could decide the fate of the entire galaxy. The purpose of Aegis was now clear, and it was more than just a structure. It was a symbol of hope, a beacon against the darkness. The council, once skeptical and divided, began to see the humans in a new light. They were not just protecting themselves, they were standing up for every species in the galaxy. And for the first time, the council felt a spark of unity, a shared resolve to face the coming storm together. The revelation about the dark force approaching the galaxy shook the Galactic Council to its core. The news spread quickly, reaching every corner of the known worlds. People of all species began to panic. Fear and uncertainty gripped entire civilizations as they realized that an ancient, unstoppable force was heading their way. The question on everyone's mind was the same. Could Aegis truly protect them, or was it too late? The council gathered once more, this time with even more urgency. The chamber was packed with representatives from all species, each one eager to speak, to voice their fears and demands. Some wanted to fight alongside the humans and help finish Aegis. Others felt betrayed, arguing that humanity's secrecy had put them all at risk. The chamber echoed with shouts and arguments, with no sign of agreement in sight. Council leader Vorath stood before them, trying to keep order. His voice, usually calm and firm, now carried a hint of desperation. "We are at a crossroads," he began. "We must decide. Do we unite behind Aegis and face this threat together, or do we let fear and distrust tear us apart?" Ambassador Liu stepped forward, taking her place beside Vorath. She spoke with confidence, but also with humility. "We know we made mistakes," she admitted. "We should have told you about Aegis sooner. But please understand, we built it to protect everyone, not just humans. The enemy we face doesn't care about borders or species. It will destroy us all if we don't stand together." A tall, winged representative stood up, her feathers ruffled with anger. "You expect us to trust you now?" she challenged. "You built a weapon behind our backs. How do we know you won't use it against us?" Ambassador Liu shook her head. "Aegis is not a weapon, it's a shield, and it won't work without your help. We need the best minds, the bravest warriors, and the strongest resources from every species. Alone, we will fall, but together we have a chance." For a moment, silence filled the chamber. Then, a reptilian representative with emerald scales spoke up. "I say we give Aegis a chance. We've seen the data. We know the threat is real. If the humans have a plan, we should be part of it." Others began to murmur in agreement, but not everyone was convinced. A small faction, led by a sharp-tongued amphibian representative, argued that humanity could not be trusted. "We should prepare our own defenses," he insisted. "Relying on Aegis is too risky. We need to look out for our own." The council was split. On one side, those who believed in unity and the power of Aegis. On the other, those who wanted to go their own way. The debate dragged on, with emotions running high. Each side presented their points, but the room remained divided. Council leader Vorath called for a final vote. Representatives lined up, each casting their decision. The result was close, but in the end, unity won by a narrow margin. The majority chose to stand with Aegis, to pool their resources and face the threat as one galaxy. Ambassador Liu felt a wave of relief wash over her. It wasn't a perfect victory. Many were still wary, and trust would take time to rebuild. But it was a start. She turned to Vorath, who nodded in approval. "This is the right path," he said. "We are stronger together." Work on Aegis accelerated. Engineers from every species came aboard, adding their unique skills and technology. Fleets were mobilized, and new strategies were developed. Slowly, a sense of hope began to replace the fear. The galaxy was still in danger, but now they faced it as a united front. The road ahead would be difficult. Old wounds and mistrust would not disappear overnight. But for now, the council had made its choice. They would fight together, and in the shadow of Aegis they would make their stand. Unity or division, today they chose unity.